This is chapter 27, and this is The Flower of Freedom by Deborah Reeves. I'm Deborah Reeves, formerly Deborah Smith, and my new life has allowed me to write books. I want to share them with you. Now you've left your burdens outside the door. You know where your seat is, and you're very welcome. Here we go. Chapter 27, Bits and Pieces of a Pattern. Marie told Bertie that she had heard one financier ask another if that young man was Hans' son. "He meant you," she said. She reported that those men said that Bertie was the spitting image of Hans. "Isn't that what Paulette called you at the airport?" In the following days, Bertie and Marie toured Marie's new school. It seemed like a great place, Bertie assured her. Paulette was bored with the entire process, and she told them that she would return after her manicure, much to their relief. They spent more than an hour alone wandering through the halls and reading bulletin boards. They met many of her teachers, and she got a list of her books and supplies. When Paulette returned, she snatched the list from Marie's hand and told her that she would give it to the maid. The maid would put everything on her desk in her room in the next couple of days, Paulette assured Marie. Marie asked where the library was, and Paulette looked at her with confusion. "Why?" she asked. "I like to read and I like to study," Marie answered mildly. "Just tell me what books you want and I'll order them," Paulette responded. Bertie saw the impasse and said, "You'll never convince her, Paulette. She's a bookworm. She likes to see what's on the shelves, and she just reads and reads." Paulette frowned, as though he was speaking a strange language, but somehow she seemed to find his voice musical. So she told him where she thought the library was. She remembered some of the shopping that she had to do, so she allowed Bertie and Marie to walk to the library, and they walked around the city before they met her back at the apartment. While they were alone, Marie spoke to her brother about money. "Bertie, you know what my allowance is supposed to be. Uncle Key gave me 2 months in advance. But Bertie, if they're paying for my clothes, if Paulette charges my manicures and pedicures when I go with her, if I do not have to buy school supplies, what am I supposed to spend the money on?" she asked, perplexed. "Oh, boo-hoo, Marie. What a problem to have. If you find that your money bags are too heavy, send them over to me," he joked, just as they arrived back at the building. The doorman already had a soft spot for those 2 young people. He smiled a greeting when they said hello. He was not accustomed to those he conducted into the building noticing his existence. He often felt like furniture, but not with these 2. When Paulette was with them, he kept his head down. He had felt the lash of her sharp tongue on many occasions for microscopic offenses. When these teenagers were alone, though, he enjoyed their lively banter. He conducted them right into the elevator. The days clicked by one. There were more parties, there was more shopping, so much that Bertie began to beg off and Paulette was disappointed. Marie and Bertie got more time to tour the city together. Then it turned into the end of July, and it was time for Bertie to go back to Canada. Paulette argued with Aki that Bertie should stay for 2 more weeks, but Aki insisted that the young man's family would be missing him, and that Marie had a lot to do before she could start her studies in a new country. No amount of pouting by Paulette could get Uncle Aki to change his mind. Uncle Aki told Bertie that he was delighted that he had come. He had conducted himself very well, and he would be a welcome guest in their home for many years to come. He had a surprise for Marie and Bertie just before Bertie left on the plane. After they had clung to one another and Uncle Aki could see how much the separation was costing Marie, he stepped forward and he told Bertie that he would send him a round-trip ticket for Marie's winter break, which was planned for Switzerland that year. When I arrange for Marie's accommodation, I will pay for yours as well. Your job will be to protect her. No one will do a better job of that than you will. I can see that now. That is all I need in return. Just take care of Marie, he said, and Marie threw her arms around his neck to thank him. The old gentleman was deeply touched, and he did not know what to say. Paulette was not impressed, and she scowled. Just at that moment, the plane began to board. Bertie had to go. He could stall no longer. He called out to Marie, "We have a pact. Do not forget it. When you feel lonely, you study. I will do the same. Distract yourself by building your own life." "A wise young woman told me that," he said with a wry grin just before he went down the ramp. "Say hello to Mama and Papa for me. Tell them that I love them," she said. And then he was gone. Marie felt the tearing and the distance in her soul. As the plane taxied down the runway, the feeling got more and more intense. Her past life climbed into the bright blue sky and turned westward with Bertie. She watched until the plane was out of sight. Marie quietly cried all the way back to the apartment, and Paulette seethed on the seat next to Aki. That's the end of this chapter. We're glad that you've come, and I hope you can begin to see that the past continues to echo into the future. You have a great day. Your friend, Deborah Smith. Reeves.